Hey everyone, what's going on? Nexius here. So today we will be taking a look at the story of the Ghostlands. This is the conclusion to the Blood Elf zone, and if you are a Blood Elf fan, you will really enjoy the ending of this. There's quite a lot of history that goes down in the storyline. So before we get into the actual questing, I do want to give you guys a quick joke. So a troll had a problem with his vehicle, his Mechanohawk, and he found out that the problem was his engine. Oh my god, so bad. Sen'jin, because that was the old leader before Vol'jin of the Darkspear Trolls, and Sen'jin Village is also a town in Durotar. Okay, anyway, let's get straight to the story before you guys kill me. So the story continues from Eversong Woods, where the Blood Elves seek to reclaim their land, which was lost to the Scourge invasion in Warcraft 3. With the borders of Eversong secured earlier, we can now head to Tranquillion to aid the Farstriders in reclaiming the Ghostlands. So when we arrive in Tranquillion, what's this? What's going on here? We have the Blood Elves and some undead working together in the town. So that's a little bit different because we are supposed to take care of the Scourge, kill them, eliminate them, purge them. What are we doing living with some Scourge here working together? Well, turns out, by Arcanist Vandril, he updates us on the situation in the Ghostlands. Apparently, the situation was more grim than Silvermoon was led to believe. The undead that we see in Tranquillion are not the Scourge. They are known as the Forsaken, and they've come as allies to fight against our common enemy, which is the Scourge. We also learn the Forsaken are led by none other than Sylvanas Windrunner, former Ranger General of Silvermoon City, who fell to Arthas in the defense of the Sunwell and Silvermoon itself. Vandril speaks highly of the Forsaken's assistance thus far, claiming that if it weren't for their assistance, Ghostlands would have easily been lost to the Scourge, and possibly even Eversong Woods would have been overrun as well. So our ultimate objective here is to reclaim the Ghostlands for the Blood Elves, with the assistance of the Forsaken. Keep in mind, at this point of the questline, the Blood Elves have not joined the Horde yet. They are not a part of the Alliance, and they are not a part of the Horde. So this is the first time they've actually run into the Forsaken. So, like Eversong Woods, the Forest Trolls have been assaulting our foothold relentlessly. We're sent to Farstrider Enclave to assist in a series of attacks on Zeb Sora, Zebtella, and ultimately Zeb Noah, where we will kill the chieftain Kalgash. For further measure, with the aid of the Forsaken, we end up developing a poison that we can apply to the food stores in these villages, hoping that it will kill a lot of the Forest Trolls. So the Forest Trolls won't stop attacking us, distracting us from the main objective of taking out the Scourge, especially clearing out Deathholm. So before we can actually get to the Scourge, we have to deal with these little annoyances, and we are forced to go attack the Forest Trolls so they can stop attacking us, and therefore we can devote all resources to the assault on Deathholm later. So, with the trolls decimated, a group of Amani priests have taken up necromancy in desperation of replenishing their numbers. So we have to head into the Amani catacombs and deal with those priests. As we wage war on the Amani forest trolls, the Forsaken is providing supplies and research to the cause. So while we're doing all this, the plague has taken many lives, as we know, and it continues to corrupt the Ghostlands wildlife. So we are forced to take out a lot of the plagued wildlife, while also taking samples from murlocs and other wildlife, so the Forsaken apothecaries that are helping us can attempt to find a cure for the plague. So, very interesting note here is that the murlocs apparently have free will in the similar sense that the Forsaken humans have free will. So the Forsaken want to study why the murlocs are different from the other wildlife in the area, and why they are basically free-willed. So they want to really study the plague, find a way to cure it, all that different stuff. So it will help the Blood Elves later on in, say, curing out the plague, as well as taking out the Scourge. So after we've taken care of the wildlife issue, all of the Amani troll issues, now we can focus our attention on the main objective, which is pushing the Scourge back to Deathholm, where we can finish off the rest of the Scourge. So we have to reclaim some of the villages. We reclaim Suncrown Village, Golden Mist Village, Windrunner Village, and even Sylvanas Windrunner's home, the Windrunner Spire, and all of them end up getting free of Scourge with our help, and now we can trap the Scourge in Deathholm. So with most of the Ghostlands reclaimed, now we can focus on the main objective, which is taking care of the main fortress of the Scourge, which is Deathholm, way south of the Ghostlands. So while we were taking back all of the villages from the Scourge, we came across another Night Elf camp similar to the one earlier in the Eversong Woods. After infiltrating the camp and stealing their plans, we find out that the Night Elves seek to power scrying orbs at the Ghostland ley lines. These scrying orbs, when powered, would allow the Night Elves to spy on every move that we Blood Elves make, whether it's safety or anything in general. So even though we're technically not at war with the Night Elves or the Alliance, they want to spy on us to make sure nothing bad is going on. So, of course, this is not a good look, so we steal the channeling orb from one of the guards, and we are able to deactivate the scrying orbs, preventing the Night Elves, and technically the Alliance itself, from spying on us. So we've got all of these problems out of the way. Little ones here and there, the trolls, the wildlife, the plague, the Night Elves spying on us. We have all these little issues distracting us, so we can't get to the main objective. But now that we've finally taken care of all of them, now we take the fight to the Scourge itself, which is at Deathholm. So this is the last bastion of the Scourge, and once we've dealt with this, we will have Ghostlands for the Blood Elves once again. So with the aid of the Forsaken, we launch an attack on Deathholm. We rescue a lot of the different kidnapped people, Blood Elves and Forsaken alike. We end up killing a lot of the military leaders, so the Scourge is mindless and don't know what to do. And finally, we come across our ultimate enemy here, Darkon Drathyr. So, Darkon Drathyr, he has a very interesting history with the Blood Elves. Darkon Drathyr is the whole reason we are in this predicament. He not only gave Arthas the secret into sneaking into Quel'Thalas to use the Sunwell to actually resurrect Kel'Thuzad, but he is also responsible for leading the Scourge in the Ghostlands currently. So he's always hated his own people. He's never been a fan of his own people, the Blood Elves, and he actually made a deal with Arthas and the Scourge where he would actually give them the secret to Quel'Thalas to get through, which actually happened in Warcraft 3. They were successful, and on top of that, he gave them two powerful artifacts earlier. Two powerful artifacts that work very well against the Scourge. So not only were the Blood Elves ill-equipped to deal with the Scourge in that case, but also they were able to get through the magical enchantments that would prevent them. So overall, basically, my point here is that Darkon Drathyr, it's all his fault. He's the big bad guy that caused Arthas and the Scourge to get through Quel'Thalas, through the Ghostlands, through Eversong Woods, and to Silvermoon to use that Sunwell. Everything comes down to this guy's fault. So we finally get revenge on him. He dies, and wow, was it challenging, even today in Legion, surprisingly. So overall, we get our revenge. We take care of the Scourge. The Amani trolls have been pushed back. That troll war, Blood Elf war that we've had since Warcraft 2, that's died down now after our assistance. Overall, that's the story of the Ghostlands. Now, there is a little bit more that's actually attached to this, not necessarily Ghostlands related, but I do want to add it in because it does occur in the Ghostlands questline. So, when we were at the Windrunner Spire, we found a necklace, and we find out it was actually Illyria's, which she gifted to Sylvanas. So we end up taking it to Sylvanas, and because of this, Sylvanas actually remembers a lot from her past life. Obviously, we know she's dead now, right? But before she died, she was actually a Blood Elf, and she was the Ranger General of Silvermoon, and she actually died defending the Sunwell and Quel'Thalas from Arthas many years ago in Warcraft 3. So this necklace reminds her of a previous life that she had before she died. So we get to see an interesting cinematic from that. I won't put all of it here because it is a pretty long cinematic, but if you want to see it, just go to YouTube and search up Lament of the Highborn, and you'll see exactly what you get from the quest. Now, on top of this, after the Ghostlands questline, this is the confirmation that the Blood Elves joined the Horde. So the Forsaken aided the Blood Elves in retaking their land, whether it was Eversong Woods or Ghostlands. So the Forsaken not only look good to the Blood Elves, but they represent the Horde. So they help, and Sylvanas included, help the Blood Elves join the Horde. Meanwhile, the Alliance doesn't help them in any kind of way. They simply spy on them. So can we blame the Alliance for this? Can we blame the Night Elves specifically? What's going on? So we know from Warcraft 3 the humans forced the Blood Elves out of the Alliance, and then they treated them like trash for years, and currently they completely ignore the Blood Elves, don't help them at all in terms of reclaiming their land. Only the Forsaken do. So overall, the Horde looks much better than the Alliance here, so the Blood Elves end up not caring about the Alliance, and they join the Horde instead. So it's an interesting storyline that leads the Blood Elves into the Horde, while also reclaiming their homeland and getting revenge on the Blood Elf completely responsible for the Scourge doing all of this damage in the first place. So that leaves the story of the Ghostlands. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye, guys.